Welcome to the Heart of Giving. You know, I'm so glad you're here because I just love the people I'm going to be talking to today. It's really a wonderful tribute to the City of Long Beach to have so many nonprofits in this community that are working with the youth and with the people that are in need. So I'm glad you're here to hear about all of this. And today is really a big day. We have the Boy Scouts. Now, if you don't know about the Boy Scouts, you haven't been alive very long, because everybody knows the word Boy Scouts and what they do. And today we have John Fullerton, who's the executive director of this area, and Brian Russell, who is the chairman of the board. But that doesn't really say a whole lot. It just says that these guys know what's going on. So I want to turn to you, John, because you are ahead of the whole thing. And what do you do as being head of the Boy Scouts?
Well, thank you very much for allowing us to be here. And so, you know, what we do, or what I do as the head of the Boy Scouts, is I help and work with the board and volunteers to present a program to over 4,000 youth in this community.
Okay, so this is, you have about 4,000 boys and girls.
And girls. Mm-hmm.
In the Boy Scouts.
Correct.
Is that
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you keep them all busy, and who takes care of them? Brian, you?
Well, we work through 1,400 volunteers, and we serve the cities of Bellflower, Lakewood, Long Beach, Signal Hill, and the city of Avalon.
So the leaders of the different groups are volunteers?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have we serve those 4,000 youth. We also have 2 program facilities and a small retail store with only 12 full-time employees. And so the only way that we can do the program is through our volunteer leaders, and that's really what makes the program very powerful, because the passion and the experiences that those volunteers bring to the program is invaluable.
And you train them?
Yeah, we have a pretty extensive training program.
For the volunteers that are working with the young men and women.
It's amazing how daunting it can be to be a new leader and realize that you're going to have 8 young boys come to your living room for a meeting, or to take 8 young people out on a backpack trip. You know, it's one thing to go backpacking on your own, but then whenever you're responsible for making sure the safety of those. So we do have a pretty extensive training program.
Let's start from the family. Okay, I want my son to be a Boy Scout. What do I do about it? How can he be a Boy Scout?
Well, it starts out in Cub Scouts, and so Cub Scouts
Or
goes,
I want to be a Cub Scout. How do you
goes
start
from
this?
first grade through 5th grade. And so Cub Scouts, either through the school or through a church or through another organization, will pass out flyers. We also have a website called beascout.org, and you can put in your zip code and find out where the nearest Cub Scout or Boy Scout meeting is, depending on your age. And then you can either contact the leaders, the volunteers directly, or you can call our office and
Find
join.
the closest. Okay, now, so the young child man goes to a Boy Scout meeting of 8? Is that what you said? Like you said a leader might have 8 boys at a meeting.
Well, so we divide in Cub Scouts. That you have a group of families from the same school or neighborhood, and that's called a pack. And we divide the pack down by age group into what's called dens. And so those dens meet on a weekly basis, and then the pack gets and then the pack gets together once a month to celebrate all the things that they've done throughout the month and have a fun activity and get all the families. It's a really family-centered program. Whereas Boy Scouts in the older program, they divide down by into a patrol. And the patrols are Boy Scouts is youth run and adult guided. And so the patrols might meet, you know, maybe in one of the kids' homes and plan their outings and plan the things that they're going to do. And the
like
patrols are part of a troop.
And when they plan, what do they plan?
Well, Brian was a scoutmaster.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that.
Scoutmaster,
No,
Brian
Brian
might be,
was a lifetime scout.
Yes.
You know, scouting, as a Scoutmaster, to answer your question, Beverly, some Scout troops like outdoor things like backpacking and camping, and some Scouts like to do water skiing or sailing. So depending on what what they like is what they do. It's a boy-led troop, is what John was saying, and it's just fun with the purpose. So my troop, 126, we met over by Whaley Park and in a small church there, and we like to do a lot of backpacking. So as John said, we'd take the 11 to 18-year-olds, that's the framework of Boy Scouts, and we go out on backpacks, and it was wonderful to watch the 16,
Like
17-year-olds mentor the 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds.
And where did it, like, when you say you backpack, where you backpack?
Big Bear Mountain area, San Jacinto,
Okay.
which is Palm Springs, Yosemite, Big Sur, just to name a few.
Okay, okay, and so most of the activities are physical activities that they do together.
Well, in those settings, the Boy Scouts is a lot of people think of it as a recreational program, but it's really a leadership development program,
I wanna
and
talk about that.
where we're in not only having fun, but we're disguising that leadership development as fun. And part of that is teaching them life skills, teaching them to be productive citizens, and then also instilling in them values and a strong character. And part of that is that mentorship that happens through one of the programs that we have is our Merit Badge program, where there's about 130 different merit badges that kids can earn
Along the way.
Correct. And in part of the Merit Badge program is some classroom learning. So there's hands-on, there's some vocational things, and many Scouts get exposed to their careers, what they're going to do in the future, through the Merit Badge program. And a lot of that is coming in contact with a Merit Badge counselor, that's somebody that's an expert in the field, whether it be something like citizenship in the community and coming to a city council meeting, or it could be welding and learning from a
So
welder
on their
how to
own,
do
they can
things.
get these merit badges by extracurricular different from the meetings that they go to.
Correct.
So they work on their own also a lot. Well, I will admit that when I was more active in going to a lot of banquets, and I would go to the Boy Scouts banquets, I was surprised at how many of the people that were there that are leaders in the community were all Boy Scouts.
A lot of 2, 3, 4 generation families in Long Beach that are involved in scouting, and the young men that might be in a troop now, their grandfather, great-grandfather were also involved in scouting. It's a wonderful tradition.
So I like it that there is so much individual activity at the very beginning. And then they can do this on their own as well as attend meetings and do things together. Now they grow in that, and they grow to different steps. What are the different steps that you, I mean, because isn't it the Explorer Scout the highest?
Well, that's so we have different awards and levels that they can earn within Boy Scouts, and then they have different levels by age group. So we do also have a co-ed programs, and one is called Venturing, and that's for young men and women 14 to 21. And the idea behind Venturing is that they do have awards that they can earn, but it's more about getting together, doing things together, and working as a team. It's about team building.
Time is going so fast here, and I want you to just say some of the, when I read the activities that the Boy Scouts do in this area, like the Jamboree, and just name some of the things. Very quickly.
Very quickly. Well, we have the National Jamboree. About 40,000 people will gather in West Virginia
wow.
next year.
Okay.
We have our Sea Scouting program. That's
Yes.
also for young men and women, 14 to 21. We recently hosted the International Sea Scout Regatta,
Wow.
Where 2 young men from Long Beach,
That's
they
another
captured
area.
second place.
Wow.
And that happened right here in Long Beach. We also have a summer camp. It's where we run 5 weeks. We own a square mile up in the mountains in Barton Flats area. It's 7,000 feet. And we also have a unique organization called our Tribe of Tockwits. And they were founded in 1925. And they provide service back to the council as well as providing our summer camp staff. So we get 40 young men that volunteer their time during summer, unpaid, to come up and run program for those 5 weeks for the campers.
I was
that
a
come
camp
up.
counselor for Girl Scouts.
Really?
At
Wow.
Tockwitz Meadows.
Oh,
A
right.
long time, 2 years, yeah, when I was in college.
You know, Beverly, to your point on the rank advancement is what it's called, that STEPS, and then Eagle is the 5th rank
Eagle.
that you get, and that Eagle's very well known. I mean, you see
Oh, I know.
Secretary of State and former 4-star General Colin Powell.
They still say they're Eagle
Scouts on there.
Scouts.
Yes,
Absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely.
George W. Bush, Eagle Scout, and it just goes on and on. Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon,
Uh-huh.
Eagle Scout. So it's not a distant rear view memory for many people. That's a very prominent part of who they are.
I kind of wanted to talk about the individual development, but time goes so fast.
Yes.
So we're going to start with Brian. When did you start, Brian?
Boy Scouts, I was not in Boy Scouts as a youth. So to answer your question, when my 24-year-old nephew said, Uncle Brian, I want to join Cub Scouts. Can you bring Aaron and let's start a meeting? So it was Mini Gant School,
Okay.
PAC 126. So what, 12 years ago? Something
Okay.
like that?
So, well, it seems like you've been in it forever, but the development that you see every day must be very fulfilling.
It's remarkable.
How many times do you meet with the heads of it, the chair, the ones that work with the packs of 8?
Well, we meet regularly. We have monthly meetings. I fortunately have a lot of opportunity to interact. We have a program also that we run that we serve 1,000 kids in North and downtown Long Beach, where we bring scouting right onto campuses after school. And we have one young man, Jaron, who started out as a Cub Scout in the program. He joined a more traditional troop at St. Gregory's and became an Eagle Scout. And he came from a single parent family. He had to find rides to get to the meetings and continued at the meetings, became an Eagle Scout, and now works for us
Oh, for heaven's sake.
presenting that program. And he's also going to Long Beach City College. So it's quite a compelling story to watch him grow. He and his friend that got Eagle
Isn't
at
that
the
wonderful?
he and his friend at the same time, they went, a group of ladies from St. Gregory's went on a mission down to Central America, and they accompanied kind of, I guess, escorts for the, for the ladies to Eagle Scouts. And, but it's this type of opportunity that he probably wouldn't have had in any other setting.
Well, you know, I've been interviewing nonprofits in the city of Long Beach. I think that no one can beat 100 years of existence. So it's
pretty
wonderful.
incredible.
And as I say, I don't know where the time went. You know, I've got all these questions I wanted to ask you, and the time is over. But I'm so pleased, John, that you're here and that you're part of this and that you're leading such a wonderful, successful, and life-changing program. And Brian, I know that you've been involved with the community for years and years. I shouldn't say this, but you were my student at City College.
That's
I remember
okay.
that
It's my
very
honor
well.
that I was, yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Wasn't that great? Time goes so quickly. We should have more time to hear all of the activities of the Boy Scouts. Maybe another day. Be sure and come right back. Welcome back. And I want you to know that this next group is very dear to my heart because it comes from an organization that we should be very, very proud of, and that's Memorial Hospital and the Memorial Care in the city of Long Beach. In fact, they sponsor this program. So we've had a chance to talk with many of the groups from the hospital, but today we have Bea Almada, who is the president of the Women's Hospital League, and Margie Rodriguez, who's the vice president. And both of them are going to let us know about some of the things that they do to support our wonderful health service. So welcome to you.
Thank
We're
you so
glad
much
you're
for
here.
having us.
By the way, I love your jackets.
Thank
Is this
you.
what you wear in the when you're in
Yes.
the hospital?
These are the
Well, I
smarts that we
assume
wear.
so because you both look alike. I didn't think you'd do that. Otherwise, that's wonderful.
Yes.
But tell us what this organization is.
Well, this organization began in the 80s, late 80s, and it was first started by some doctors' wives and other ladies that decided to do some philanthropic work at the hospital. And then a wonderful lady named Blanche Kennedy came in. She's a famous educator in Long Beach. And she suggested that we start giving out books to the parents of newborns to promote learning and literacy and helping the child become well aware of the spoken word and the written word and the pictures, and that way creating a better vocabulary for them, preparing them for school. So that's how the organization began, and we started giving out books in 1988 to the parents of newborns. We go into the rooms
hospital. Okay.
and we talk to the parents. We see the babies. They're beautiful.
Oh, fun.
That is the fun part of it. And we talk to them about the book. We talk to them about how important it is to talk to their babies too, because we're so much into the technology of life now, and everything is clicking. But we want to remind them that that baby has heard their voice for 9 months, and
Well,
it's
that's
not
a good
time
thing.
to stop.
That's good.
And we tell them about the book. We tell them to please read to their babies and to sing to them and be totally involved with them.
So you not only see new babies, but you see pride in the parents.
Some parents are absolutely over the top with the first babies especially.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever we have twins, we give them 2 books because each deserves their own book. And we have both had parents or mother who said, "Oh, I got that book when I was a baby."
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And that's kind of, oh my gosh, it makes us feel wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's a wonderful way of getting the families involved in educating their children and helping them. Many a time they say, "Oh, I have so many books already. I've been reading since I got pregnant." And then other ones are very thankful for getting that first book.
Well, you know, and also it's a gesture of warmth.
Yes.
And of giving that somebody is brought in at the very beginning that they will remember a long time.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. And then there's another program you have.
We have the Stork Club, which
What do you call that?
Stork.
S-T-O-R-K?
S-T-O-R-K, Stork Club, very
Stork
traditional.
Club. Yeah, I mean, isn't
since
there
it
a
did start
nightclub
back in
named
the-
that or something in New York?
No,
Oh, that's right.
Wait a minute, the Stork Club? Okay.
exactly. It's an old traditional term, and we decided we really want to keep that name because it really reminds us of how the program started way back when in 1988. Over, some 27 years now we've had the program.
And what does this club do?
The Stork Club actually provides support to the hospital staff where they provide a maternity presentation. And this happens months before the baby's born. And this presentation is given by the hospital staff, but we as volunteers on our club provide informational packets
This
to the
is
parent.
to the parents.
Absolutely.
The would-be parents. Okay.
Right. The parents come to our registration table. We provide them this beautiful packet filled with information.
So you have pregnant mothers and accompanied by fathers and pregnant,
Yes,
Many
mom,
members,
mom,
many
dad.
Oh,
Sometimes the kids come too.
or the grandparents.
Absolutely. We have everybody excited about the birth come, and at the registration table we give them these packets. They're filled with information about breastfeeding, information about what's going to
hospital.
happen at the hospital, the operating procedure and stuff. It's very valuable information that we provide.
So those are the 2 major projects that you have.
Those are our 2 projects where we are actually doing something with the families. Our other project is because we're a nonprofit. We have once a year we do the Valentine Bake Sale to raise money for purchase of these books. These books are made for our group only. You can't find. I always tell the parents, don't look for them on Amazon because they're not there.
They're special.
They're special. They're made for us, and they're beautiful because they start out with old-fashioned nursery rhymes that we used to know as children, and then they continue on through folk stories and fairy tales. So it's a book that goes along with the child, that grows with the child.
So in order to have this book, you do have to fund it.
We have to fund, yes.
And you fund it by having a bake
We have
sale.
a bake sale, and then, well, we've been very fortunate to get a grant every once in a while. And we do what we can to raise funds. We have little get-togethers. We have dues, of course. We have, and when we have our general meetings, we have people from the hospital come and speak to us, doctors, nurses.
How many of them are there like you?
Oh, how many people in our
In your
league?
group? I
There's a
asked it
small
wrong.
group. We're only about 35. And since we delivered the books 3 times a week, we need more members. We would like to have more members because
that's good to know.
It's
Yes,
a fun way
because-
to volunteer.
Yes.
Well, you know, there are so many people whose lives have been touched in one way or another
Right.
by the care at Memorial
Yes.
and the feeling that they have for the hospital itself. And so having, you know, volunteering some time would probably be
and
something they'd feel how fulfilling to them.
that would be
Absolutely.
wonderful. And it's only takes about an hour and a half to deliver the books. Sometimes you never know how many babies you're going to have. Sometimes you can have 20. One time I had 60, and it was like, oh my
60?
goodness,
60 new babies?
Yeah.
60
Yes.
new babies.
What time of the year was that?
That's what we always
Was that in December?
we always count back. But we try to have information for our members also. We've had doctors talk about stroke care. We've had people talk about the lungs, our hearing. So we're learning as we are also enjoying giving out these books. So we're learning a lot about health care for women. The stroke facility is so informational, and so it's a wonderful program.
You
Not
work
only
mainly in the women's hospital.
yes,
Women's
solely.
hospital and the infant.
We
Yes,
support
yes.
them in any way that we can. And so we do the Store Club and the Books for Babies program. And they're both an opportunity for people to get involved and participate in volunteering and service, and also helping us provide educational service to the community in terms of health care.
How often do you meet?
We have board meetings once a month, and then we have regular meetings about 4 to 5 times a year, depending on what. And when we have parties too, and we have our holiday party. So
So now, how do you differ from the volunteers in the hospital? Because I know they have a volunteer program.
oh, but that's a very large program.
That's a large program. Our program is a little smaller, but it does provide an opportunity for us to promote literacy. I think that's our main
That's our main.
focus is providing literacy, and we really want to get to the child at a very early age, at prenatal, and again at the birth, because we actually deliver the books to the parents in the hospital after the birth of the child. And at that time, we continue to explain about the importance of reading, you know, and the fact that it builds memory,
How
vocabulary.
long do people stay in the hospital now after they had a
Oh my
baby? I
gosh.
don't
Not
remember.
very long.
Not very long.
Maybe at the most 3 days. Sometimes they'll come in, have a baby at the night, and then they're there the next day, and they go home the following day. So
So you have
it's-
to catch them quickly.
We
you
do.
do, and sometimes we do miss some parents if they come in,
Yes.
especially on a Friday, and there's no one there on the weekend to give out.
So you have somebody there every day,
No, 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Monday,
Ah,
Wednesday, and Friday
okay.
mornings.
That's why
Okay.
we are seeking members to join our
I
group, because
see.
we'd like to provide a book to every child that's born in the hospital.
Okay, if somebody wanted
That's our goal.
to help you, how do they tell you?
Oh, they
How
would
do they
call.
raise their hand?
Hey, I want to
me.
join too. It's a
They
lot
would
of
call
fun.
the volunteer office and
Ask for our organization.
ask for the name of our organization, or tell them that they are interested in joining our organization, and give their name and number, and we will contact them. The volunteer office will take them through the process of getting them their badges, as the
Badges.
one that
Yeah, I have my
Margie
badge.
has, and making sure they have to have a TB test. Of course, we have to be so careful with the
yes.
health. And they walk them through the whole process, and then once they walk through the process, they can start. We'll train them into how to deliver the books, and I go with a partner. I think Margie goes by herself,
on my own.
so you can go alone or with a partner, and whatever you feel, however you feel comfortable in delivering the books. But you know, it's so much fun. I mean, many times, let me tell you, I'll walk into a room, and I'm sure you have had that
Yeah.
too, and the daddy's asleep in one bed and the
Right.
mommy's in the other bed. And so I'll say, well, okay, who had the baby?
Who's in here really?
And other times there's a whole family, and it's just joyous. It's a joyous
Oh,
time.
it's a joyous
It's a
job.
celebration.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Yes.
the fact that we can participate in that celebration is,
Yes.
is wonderful for us too as
Absolutely.
volunteers.
Now,
you
they
know.
have other volunteers working in that area too, like, don't they have cuddlers or?
Oh,
they
yes,
do.
yes.
Yes, they do
Yes.
have that
You don't,
group
you
as
don't
well.
cuddle.
No.
No, we don't.
And you
We-
know, there's a waiting list for cuddlers.
Oh, is
a
that
2-year.
right?
many people that want to be a part of that.
Oh,
There's a
my.
waiting list.
Yes, yes.
And that's just holding a baby.
just holding a preemie.
It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
And
It's-
many
There's
of
a
our
waiting
members would
list
like
for
to.
it. Well, you're doing the next best thing. So I mean, you
We
know,
have
you're
the
not cuddling,
opportunity.
but you get a chance to see
We
them.
get to
and-
see the babies
see the smiles and
Absolutely.
oh,
let them know that you care about them.
yes,
Right.
yes, it's so important, and we're just grateful that we can do something like
That's
this.
great. Well, and you have how many again, people working with you?
There's 35
35.
members, but there's only about 20 that deliver the books.
I see.
So we do need some more
Oh, good.
help.
Well, we'll work on that. You
I
know, I mean, we
appreci-
should
we
say
appreciate
that. Now,
that.
did you all hear that?
We
Well,
appreciate that because it is a service that's
Just call the hospital
that's
volunteer
important,
office.
yeah.
The volunteer.
Very
office.
good. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you
That's-
very much for
that's-
giving us the opportunity to
Well,
come
I love
and
it,
talk
you know,
about it.
and you've got 2 good projects, but they're not just work, you get
It's a joy.
fulfilled and have a joy every time.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank
This was
you.
fun.
It was
Thank
fun.
you. And thank you very much for watching. These were good programs. I hope that you become involved in our community in some way as a volunteer. See you later.